Everyone, hope everyone had a wonderful, wonderful week. This week is Parshas Vayishlach. Hanukkah's around the corner. Baruch Hashem, Yeshiva is in a very, very nice rhythm. Share with you a very, very beautiful and famous Meshech Chochmah. The Meshech Chochmah notes that Chazal tell us that the Avos HaKadoshim, they kept the entire Torah, every one of the Avos. And the Gemara indicates Maseches Yuma that Avraham Avinu kept every single mitzvah, including Eruv Tavshilin. And Rashi quotes in our parsha, Vayichan, that Yaakov set up a camp, and Rashi says that he set up Eruv Tchumin. So Chazal are telling us something amazing, something very striking, that the Avos kept the entire Torah, even mitzvahs d'Rabbanan, Avram, even Eruv Tavshilin. Yaakov Avinu, Machlokas whether Eruv Tchumin is Dorais or D'Rabbanan. We just finished Maseches Eruvin Daf Yomi, but he set up Eruv Tchumin. He set up Tchumin. And why this fixation with Eruv? Why is the Chazal, when they emphasize that the Avos kept the entire Torah, Doraisas and perhaps even D'Rabbanans, why this emphasis on Eruvin? So the Meshech Chochmah has a comment in this week's parasha where he says something amazing. If you study Eruv Tavshilin carefully, you'll notice that the mechanism of Eruv Tavshilin, which allows us to go ahead and cook from a Yom Tov to a Shabbos, really that's an Isser Doraisa. The reason it gets knocked down to an Isser D'Rabbanan and then can be cured with an Eruv Tavshilin is because when you cook on Friday for Shabbos, so we understand that there's a possibility, even if it's remote, that Orchim might come. Hoel v'ikloi Orchim might come. And then while you're really cooking for Shabbos, but since unexpected guests might come, this food has a latent usage that might be needed for today, for Friday. You might come to need it on Friday. That's why the Mogen Avraham writes that if you're doing this, you're cooking late Friday afternoon, where this possibly is not really realistic, then perhaps you cannot use an Eruv Tavshilin for that kind of cooking. But if you cook early enough in the day, so there's a latent awareness that Orchim might come. You see, that's very much connected to Avraham Avinu, because Avram's midah was chesed. His midah was hachnasas orchim. That's what he was all about, and therefore, yes, Chazal want to emphasize a mitzvah like Eruv Tavshilin, which is premised on hachnasas orchim. That is Avram's mitzvah. What about Yaakov? So Yaakov was very, very different than Avram and even Yitzchak. Yaakov had Yud Beis Shvatim, and every one of those Yud Beis Shvatim is Klal Yisrael. Avram, he had a Yishmael. Yitzchak, he had an Esav, not so Yaakov. Yaakov was Yud Beis Shvatim, and his mission, his task, his challenge was to set up a Ruvei Tchumin. His challenge was to set up boundaries, to set up borders. Yes, Avram was involved in Kiruv. He was involved in Hachnasas Orchim, bringing the world in. And yes, when you have a child like Yishmael, perhaps you need to be Kiruv-centric. Yaakov's mission was different. Yaakov's mission was he had Yud Beis Shvatim, he had Shiftei Ka, and now his job was to preserve, to, in a certain sense, inoculate, to insulate his children from outside influences. And that is exactly why he set up boundaries, he set up borders, Vayichan, Eruv, Tchumin, to set up, this is the places you can go, this is the places you should not be going, beware of a challenging world outside. And there are different times in world history, Jewish history, where sometimes the mission, the mandate is to be like Avram, Hachnasas Orchim, bring the world in, educate the world, Tikkun HaOlam. And other times when the world is a bit more dangerous for us, a bit more risky for us, then the job is to insulate, to go ahead and create borders, to create boundaries, to make sure that we can do our best to stay pure and pristine. Sometimes we navigate both in a single day. There might be opportunities of kiruv, of chesed, and then there might be times where we have to say, no. Now we have to protect ourselves. We have to build our teva, if you will, and make sure we're properly secure and insulated. That, says the Meshech Chochmah, is the message. It's Yaakov uvanav yanuchu bo. Yaakov and his sons, now the Nishvatim, they're heading to Mitzrayim. They have to be secure, they have to be protected, they have to make sure that they are not going to be influenced by the outside world that can have a deleterious influence upon them. Great lessons to be learned from this beautiful Meshech Chochmah. Have a wonderful Shabbos Kodesh.